Yeah, you're live with me. But it
Yeah.
will be okay if if you can
Oh,
turn your camera. Good evening.
I think it's better now.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah,
How
good
you
evening,
doing?
sir.
Yeah,
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hope you can hear me clearly.
It's audible.
It's audible.
Can you hear me as
Can you hear
well?
me
Can you
clearly?
hear me as well?
I can hear you clearly. Can you
I
hear
can hear
me?
you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great.
Great.
Yeah. Welcome to today's episode. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as I speak to you, last week Saturday I had certain issues while I was coming on live around 5:30 p.m. It was raining heavily. So today now it has not been raining since morning, but the moment it's 5 o'clock for us to go on live, it started raining. So sometimes
Wow.
while we so sometimes when we are talking, because of the environment where I stay, the network might be having some issues. And so you have to understand that if it lags, I'm still going to be on live with you.
No problem.
Do we get
No
that?
problem.
All right. So welcome everyone. Welcome all Nigerians home and abroad. Today joining me live is with my big brother, Mr. Adiola Olubode. Yeah,
Yeah.
welcome, sir.
Yeah,
So
it's really nice to
It's really
join
nice
here.
to join here.
yeah, you have always been discussing on some things while we are on platform, whenever I'm on platform, and I love your most of your comments. And I'm like, okay, today let us take time and dive into the issues of dating in Nigeria. And I know while we are on
Okay.
live, a lot of people are going to be joining us along the line. And so hopefully today we are going to have a good discussion. Let's talk about Nigeria dating scene. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Network was fluctuating.
Yeah, I think the network issues from my area.
Yeah, the rain. I
So,
understand.
so whenever you are going, even if my perhaps my network lags is lagging, you can still continue. It's going to be recording it.
Oh,
So
okay,
if
no
you have
problem
any,
then. No problem.
no problem. So you can continue
Okay.
whenever you're answering any of the questions. But hopefully, I'm using a good network that should help this time. So how are you doing? How is the dating scene? You said are you
Yeah.
single?
No. I'm single, but how do you describe single? Is it like single with relation in a relationship or single, single without no relationship?
Okay, I'm talking about single without. Okay, single with you are single with relationship, right?
Yes, definitely. I'm single
Ah,
with relationship,
so
but I'm
that
single. I'm not legally married, so I'll say I'm single. Single but
okay.
taken.
Hope
That's the
you're
point.
all right. Single but taken.
Yeah,
So that means you already have your fiancé.
definitely.
All right, that's good. So let's start today's topic by talking about Nigerian dating scene. Let's just generalize some things first. How do you perceive Nigerian dating scene at this modern age of our life in Africa, Nigeria, or Africa specifically? What are you seeing about Nigerian dating?
So basically, it's I'll say like something like that is quite dynamic, right? Because if you actually consider the trend that is in the 90s down to the 2000s and then 2010s and then now, rather that everybody's having facing like different dynamics. So what we have now is like something that is totally different from what we used to have. But now I would say the dating scene in the current era now is something that you can't really place your hands on. You can't really say, oh, this is the way it is. Because everybody have like different things to say about it. So if you ask some people, some persons, where did you meet? Like how did you start dating? Some people can say yes, started dating because he's my church member. or some people can
Mm.
say started dating because we are on the same street. Some people can say we started dating because we are what's it called? We go to the same school. And I think that was what it used to be like, about say 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Proximity was the underlying factor that determined how close people became, and then the dating pool. But now we are looking at a much more complex dynamic to it. We're not having to see the influx of dating apps like Tinder, Bado, and all that. So you know I think like the last video I was watching, when a video of yours, a live session of yours, when you're talking about um the fact that youth of nowadays want to get instant gratification, right? And then
Sorry,
the
you
dating
said
youth of
you
nowadays
said
want to
some.
get like instant gratification. Like, people are not ready to delay their
Yeah.
gratification, right? So like the
Yes,
dating
sir.
scene is modeled after that. Let me put it that way, in the
Mm.
sense that people are ready to discard their current relationship because of the availability of people in
Mm.
in different forms. And in one form, in form of this ability to just go online, meet a new person, and form a dating relationship with the person. So now the dynamic is now different. You don't need to ask someone in your street to form any form of relationship with. All you just need to do is go online, be active online. It's someone that will text you and say, hey, hello, I like you, and then you start discussion and all that. So it's quite dynamic now. It's unlike what it used to be like. People can easily discard people and then form new relationships and the like. So dating itself in the current era is dynamic, and we cannot really place our hands on you know a major conclusion.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You touched on the aspect of social media affecting dating,
Yeah.
and you were saying in the previous years, in the days of our dads or our mothers or the generation before us, they mostly date people within their environment. And now
Definitely.
maybe social media has contributed to the fact that people want to date other people since they can just see them on phone and they assume these people are doing very well. Do you think the
Yes.
issue is actually affecting? Do you think, let me just put it this way. How do you perceive, how do you perceive most of our ladies today, how they actually approach relationship? Because what you mentioned now, most of it just tends to be about sexual things. It's easy for you to go on Tinder. It's easy for you to go to Bado. It's easy for you to go to most of all the sites, and you can just have a lady that you want to have a short time casual sex with. So,
Yeah.
looking at it at this particular junction, what do you think that is actually what we can do to have real dating? In your observation, what do you think people use in today's world to have serious dating, unlike just having casual sex and thinking you have met the messiah? At the end of the day, you guys have, you crash without before you know anything.
Okay. Yeah. So I think before I try to bring out a form of contribution to what we can do to help women individuals to form a genuine relationship. I think we should just further address the approach women approach to relationship, or not like I'm trying to be what's it called, misogynistic, or what's it
Misogynist.
called.
Misogynist.
I'm not. Yeah, so I'm
Mm.
just trying to look at how okay, let me look at it from the perspective of men and women, how men view relationship and how women view relationship, from experiences and from what people have said, about their relationship and the like. So I feel, because the world has changed, and the fact that we now have a different dynamics to life. Life itself is now quite difficult, and everybody is looking out for the safe side. What is safe? Nobody wants to suffer on this. Everybody's after this rush, right? So because of
Yeah.
that, you know, what a man is looking for in a woman is different from what a woman is not looking for in a man. So it's
Mm.
quite like a clash of interest between two different parties. And of course, we can just for those that are having successful relationship nowadays, it's more or less like striking a balance between this clash of interest. So for those for a woman, for instance, the traditional woman is supposed to be looking out for security. Supposed to looking out for what's it called, financial security, what's it called, protection in form of physical security. Supposed to looking out for features that you really want to transfer to your next generation, right? And those are the things that a traditional woman will actually consider for a relationship. And when I say that, specifically that financial security is very important, because when someone was telling me something that if you as a guy are saying you don't want to marry a girl that is after money, or you don't want to marry a girl that is what's it called, too money conscious, she asked a striking question and told me that, would I like my sister to marry a broke guy? And I was really shocked at that, and I realized that yes, it's true. You really want a guy that can provide. It might not be financially, it might not be the Dangotes or the other dollars of this world, but at least the guy should be ready to provide, right? That is what a traditional woman will actually look out for in a relationship. But what are we seeing now? We're seeing a different, a trend, a a diversion from that trend. We're not looking at people, women, not looking at the physical protection part, which is, a man, whether it's a man that is physically ready, mentally ready to protect the woman, or they're not more looking at the need to transfer that unique gene or unique trait to the next generation. They're now focusing more on that financial security. So it's not like taking one out of three major things that you should look out for in a relationship as a woman looking for a suitable man for a relationship, right? So now the main dynamics is also quite unique. For the typical man, I think it has also changed. Um, in sense that the traditional men, let me put it this way, they try to take over the responsibility in a relationship, and they are just like, even if I get in a relationship, no matter what the lady is doing, I'm ready to provide for everything, right? But things are different now, and the man is no more looking at what's it called, a woman being able to or a woman in possession of specific traits that he wants to pass down to his generation, or a woman that he feels he can take care of. So the modern man is looking out for a woman that can contribute, a woman that can add to the what is on the table. So now you hear question like, what do you bring to the table? Yes, that's from a man to a woman. So that is like different interests clashing now, and then we need to strike a balance between this clashing interests. So for me, I would say, I don't know. I just don't know what to say in terms of, say, a solution. Because anything I would say would be subjective. In terms of saying, if we strike a balance between two conflicting interests, then we could have a successful relationship. But it's not looking like these people are willing to, strike that balance, because we are seeing, a high prevalence of divorce. Even before divorce, we are seeing high prevalence of broken relationships that don't even last up to 1 month. We are seeing relationships that don't last up to 2 weeks. It's over, because nobody wants to suffer, or arrive at that balance between their interest and the interest of their partner. So that is what I feel there should be a balance, fine, but at the same time, all solutions seem to be subjective, and then you can have a better solution.
Oh, oh, okay. I think you're having a call. Maybe your phone is ringing also.
Definitely. Oh, okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So I don't know. Sometimes when you were explaining certain things, the network was hanging. I did
Oh,
not
for
want
my
to
side,
stop
right?
your, yeah, from your side. I don't want to stop
Oh,
your train of thought. So that was why I decided not to interject. But
oh, okay.
maybe, yeah, yeah, maybe if there's a possibility of you putting it in an area where the network will be more stable, maybe that will be
Okay.
fine.
Let me try. I'm
All right.
coming.
All right. Yeah, everyone, please let's hold on a little bit before my brother join me back on live. There were little issues before we came on live today. So I'm expecting him to join me and so we can have a lot of discussion today. So thank you. Please, if you're just joining me, like, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Please do.
Is it better now?
Let's see how it goes. But I think it's
Okay.
hanging kind of. But let's see how it goes. There's something at the background that is doing fiap fiap. I don't know what that is.
Okay, no problem. Let me get it out now.
Okay.
Okay, I think it should be better now.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Welcome back. So let us
Yeah,
fully
okay.
let us fully debunk all this. Are you in Lagos?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. What area of Lagos? Mainland or island?
Mainland.
You're from
It's mainland.
mainland.
Yeah.
Okay. So looking at the date scene in mainland, you pointed out that most women are not willing to be patient with their men anymore. If I'm correct,
Yeah.
what do you think we men of this generation, as Africans, what do you think we are actually doing wrong? Have you considered anything that we are doing wrong that is probably affecting the relationship with our women?
Okay. Okay, I think yeah. So if we consider a virtuous woman, a virtuous woman in a relationship, I think that's where we can now talk about the faults of the men within the African dating scene, right? So I feel the African men of nowadays they're actually applying pressure to the women in terms of say telling the woman that what do you bring to the table, what's it called, seeking for a contribution within the home and or within the relationship in terms of monetary contribution, career contribution, what's it called, emotional contributions or emotional support and the like. So I think the African man seems to be asking too much of a woman, and women, they are made go as in they are created in a way that is that makes them unique in a way, right? So asking too much of a woman might frustrate the woman, and then these are things that cause clashes within a relationship.
Mr. Olubode, please, sir.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe possibility if you open your curtain of your window maybe a little bit, it might help network to come in because it's whenever you speak, the network is just hanging.
Oh, okay, no problem. I put it outside. I'm using the Wi-Fi, right? So I can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Absolutely. But sometimes the
okay.
network is just hanging.
I think
Yeah.
the area really wants to fall as well, and then the network is like I moved it to a very good site, and then but let me just hold on a little, please.
Oh, network is really affecting our discussion. Please, for those who are joining us, I appreciate you for joining. We are having little challenges with our network. We haven't even gone deep into the conversation. We are just about to start the conversation. I knew how I started today. It happened in an emergency way. We've already had a time that we are going to have this discussion, but during the week, my phone went off in the sense that my WhatsApp crashed. And because my WhatsApp crashed and I updated my phone, I lost some contact, so we were unable to follow up. So it came at a late hour when he sent me message before I was able to, okay, let's quickly go on live. So you are going to be joining me. I appreciate you. Please like, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I promise. I believe today's um, live video is going to be useful to every one of us. I will try my best and see how we can make it work and have deeper discussion.
I really hope. I had to switch off one of my devices. So I really
Okay,
hope, yeah, it will be better now. I really hope.
okay, okay. At least I can hear you clearly now.
Okay, oh, that's great.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly now. So you said something that men are asking women, what are they bringing to the table? And I think
Yeah,
that, and I think that a lot of women today, when you ask them what do they bring to the table, a lot of them are upset about those questions. And for
yeah,
me, I think it's just a conversation. What should be the demand of a man, or what do you think a man should be expecting when dating a woman? Because you say telling a woman what does she bring to the table simply means maybe you are asking her what's her value. But before you approach a woman, you should have seen the value of that woman first before you approach her.
definitely.
Yes, because I think most men, all they are, all they are interested in this generation is just to get a girl, have sex with her, and expect the lady to be submissive. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, I'm getting your point.
Yeah, most men today, they just want to get a girl, and when she looks beautiful and she has what they want, they just want to have sex with her. They don't know her tradition. They don't know her culture. They don't know her thinking process. They only have few information about her, and they just have sex with her. And after that, the lady herself does not trust the relationship because the man has not actually done his due diligence or make certain kind of sacrifice apart from we eating or feeding and all of that. Do you think it is men themselves asking women, what do you bring to the table? Do you think that thing actually makes sense? I think before you actually get involved with a woman, you're supposed to know the value of that woman, and out of it, you know what she brings to the table. How
Definitely.
do you perceive that? What's your view on that?
So for me, when I say what do when men ask what do you bring to the table, I'm not saying it's a bad question. I'm
Okay.
only saying that I'm only saying that women might misinterpret it, right? Like, for some women might be like, oh, what value are you in the relationship? So for some women might be like, oh, what are you contributing financially? So like it just depends on the context, pre-context of such questions. So I think most of the time the argument or the question, what do you bring to the table, might really come up during fights, little fights here and there, and then the guy just drops it and says, what do you bring to the table? So at that point, it's like a stressor to the woman, right? The woman is already
Yeah.
thinking of so many things, like, oh, what do you mean by what do I bring to the table? But if it's a formal conversation where you're trying to like talk about your plans for the future, or you're trying to get to know each other, what do you bring to the table becomes a form of inquest into our contribution to the relationship and our potential contributions in the relationship. So it's more or less like a two-sided question, right? That might
Okay.
involve so many dynamics. So what do you bring to the table is not a bad question actually. It's just a matter of interpretation and how what's it called? It's being conveyed.
Hmm. What do you bring to the table? You said it doesn't make sense.
I said it makes sense. I'm not saying I said it. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense.
Well,
I'm only
let me
saying
give out
that
a
it's
shout out first to Miss D, my number one supporter. Thank you, Miss D. I appreciate the $10. I appreciate you. You're just joining us now. Yeah, welcome. if you think she said something, so let me go through what she read. She wrote. So maybe we will include it to the question. She said, "But if you can't see what she brings to the table, why should she tell you?" Okay, I think she's looking at it from my own perspective. That when a woman, when you go and you meet a lady and you tell the lady, what do you bring to the table? That means you need to have seen the value. Do you think men are actually putting effort? That's what the next question. Do you think men are actually putting effort to know our women today? Or do you think we are lazy as men today in the way we approach our women on dating?
Okay, I think that question is quite tricky because like it's multifaceted, right? Because at the end of the day, if you look at some guys, like some guys actually, they try to go as far as understanding who the woman is and getting to know her likes and her dislikes and all that. But at the same time, some people actually also don't care. So if I should look at it as what is the prevalence and what are what the majority think or what the majority do, I would say there are so many distractions nowadays, right? So many distractions that is making the average man not to like pay attention to what a woman is doing within the relationship. And one of those distractions could be what we see on social media. For a man, for instance, in a relationship, you might tend to want to compare your partner with someone you saw online. You know that this is something that I've done. Well, I've done actually. I've tried to compare my partner with someone I saw online in terms of the person's career. Now, like, oh, this woman, this girl doing this so and so. You can do so and so. But my partner is actually doing so much within the relationship. So at that point, it's a form of say factors like distractors, online distractors, offline distractors could contribute to why people are not paying attention to women contribution in a relationship.
Oh, okay. For me,
Yeah.
let me just put up my own view on it. I think, in a way, um, we have a society. Let us look at it from the society perspective. Society has changed
Okay.
right now, and previously, we might not know exactly the dynamics at which they use in dating. What we know is the historical factors of, okay, if you love a woman, you go and you pay a bride price, and you go to meet the family, and the family comes and they say, okay, let's know your family. And out of it, they would instruct their daughter what to do. At the end of the day, you guys get married. But in today's world, certain things has actually changed. And I know that when we begin to talk about men and women or dating specifically, we kind of have issues today, and the men are always blaming the women, and the women are also blaming the men. And I think it's working both ways if you have to look at it. But one of the factors when we talk about this idea of I'm trying to think about it. This idea of what distraction, sorry, the aspect of we looking at it from the distracting part of it. Social media is distracting us. Do you think that social media is actually distracting our relationship, or do you think that we are not taking relationships serious? Because if you're taking relationships serious, social media should not have anything to do with your relationship. Now, I tell men these things that for you to get the right woman, you have to be the right man.
Definitely.
And what I mean by that statement is you have to be a man that you think that even if this lady, perhaps you are a woman, you would love to date yourself. Do you understand? Most men think that a woman coming to their
Yeah.
life is supposed to shape and fix their problem. And so they are not right, but they are
Definitely.
seeking for the right woman. So looking at it on that aspect, Do you think that analysis is correct? That to get a right woman, you have to be the right man. That means you should have a lot of discipline around yourself. You should have certain principles you live by. And so when you approach the woman, you would know the suitable woman for your life. I don't know if you're
Okay.
getting the picture.
I
Yeah.
understand.
For
I
example,
understand.
if my lifestyle maybe or my career path is for me to be a pastor, why should I just go to the club hoping to see a girl there and then trying to shape her to start living in the way of the Lord, when actually where I met her sounds as if it's a hookup place? So
Okay.
most men, I think they are not being deliberate on the kind of woman they need in their relationship that
Yeah.
suits their vision and their career. What's your take on it?
Okay, so for me, I think I keep saying these things about relationship, right? Can you hear me? Am I good? So
You
I keep
good?
saying this thing about relationship, right? That you can't be the perfect man, neither can you be the perfect woman. Um, like you said, right? You want to date someone, you should be like a reminder of, say, can you date yourself, or can the person date him or herself? So for me, I keep telling people, I agree with what someone said. So I keep telling people that relationship is about seeing someone, right, and getting to know other person's flaws. Like the interview term said, love, as love should be practiced in a relationship, is when the person has opened his or her yansh. You have seen everything. You understand? And then you now said yes, and I will see enter. I will see put my head. So people should actually learn to understand the weaknesses in other people before trying to commit to that relationship. I think people are getting it wrong in terms of, say, like you said, wanting to change someone else, which is almost impossible. You don't know where I'm coming from, so you can't change me. I don't know where you're coming from, so I can't. I can only try, but it will be difficult. Even psychologists find it difficult to change human behavior, talk less of someone you don't know. So it's a matter of people should just change their mindset. It's a matter of people changing their mindset about relationship, right? When you enter a relationship, for instance, you need to understand the person for who he or she is. You need to understand the person's strengths and weaknesses, the person's likes and dislikes, the person's flaws. That flaw, not even weakness. The person, like what the person does, that everybody says is bad. Now the question now becomes, when you get into the relationship, are you willing to bear? Are you willing to what's it called? Um, are you willing to remain committed? Are you willing to continue in that relationship? To I'm looking for the right word. I'm looking for the right word. It's just a matter of being loyal. I told someone that relationship is not a situation of just romance. Relationship is a situation of loyalty. Because at the end of the
Okay.
day, all the fake, I love her because she has a fine boobs. I love her because she has a big yansh, or I love him because he has money. I love him because he's tall. All those things will die. They are just things of fancy. So at the end of the day, it now becomes, when the real person comes out and all those things have died, would you remain in the relationship? So
Okay.
people need to understand that fact before entering into the relationship, because I agree with you on top of the approach or the way people see relationship, and I will say it is wrong. And that is why the dating scene in Lagos State or in Nigeria or in Africa is a mess, because people are not willing. So the people are not even willing to check out for those weaknesses. Maybe they see is now, not even red flags, a little sign of weakness, they run away. Maybe the guy is a stingy guy. You just run away. I'm not saying stinginess is good, but some people are willing to stay with that person that is stingy.
Okay. Are you done? Hello, are you done with your pointer?
Yeah, I'm done. I think that, yeah, I think
Okay.
the question on the
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah. Oh, you don't need to really look at it because it's going to distract you in certain things. Okay,
Okay,
Mr.
no problem, man.
Let me read out one of these charts from Mr. Ozonkwo Emeka. He asked the question. He said, "Can you see what someone brings?" That's what he meant is, can you see what someone brings to the table, or the person shows you? That means, can the person show you what they bring to the table, or can you see it rather than demanding that or requesting from the person that what do you bring to the table? Now that is what it says. Um, for me, I think I would analyze it this way. First of all, I will use myself as an example. Now, when I wanted to get married, I was at Lekki at that particular time, and I saw this lady. And when I saw the lady, I had a lot of ladies who were interested in me during that time, but I'm a kind of person that I love thinking a lot, and I know the kind of woman
Okay.
I wanted. So when I saw my wife, she's my current wife, what I started doing was like I studied her. Then she was making hair. She was an hairdresser at that point. So I realized that she was consistent in working. That means if she come to the shop, she was under a boss then learning this profession. When she comes around 8, she always leave around 8 at night. So that was her way of life. Then I knew that this person is consistent with her work. She's not a lazy kind of person. Then the second thing I started doing was like I would give a lot of ladies then were coming to me. I would give most of them money, but I was testing them. When you know what, Nigeria, our currency bad one way or the other. But when I give some of them 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, a lot of them would take that money and they will spend it. And they are just like, my boyfriend is good. But when I give the money to my wife, whatever money I was giving to my wife, like, oh, use it to take care of yourself, my wife will still keep that money and wait for any time that I need something and give it to me. Sometimes she would even tell me that, why are you giving me this money? And I knew she needed the money because then she just lost her mother. So what is the
Oh,
reason why am I narrating the story? What I'm doing is that I am searching for the quality of the woman. Now, I wanted a woman who is submissive, a woman who is hardworking. When I use not hardworking, like someone who takes their work serious. So I don't know, I don't want to go into that, but someone who takes their work serious. So she hold her career serious or the profession serious, and then she was someone who is not a lavish spender. I used to have some problem, like I don't know how to control money at some point in my life until now where I don't get sense and all of that. I start having children. But what I'm saying is this, what I meant by all this story is that as a man, in the past, our parents, when they wanted to date a woman or when they want to get married to a woman, they do their due diligence. When they see a woman pass by, they say, where is she from?
yeah.
What family did she come from? But today, you just see a lady that pass by, and your head, all your testosterone, everything just skyrocket like gas. And then you're just like, what do you bring to the table? How can you know that when you have not tested her with a lot of things? It is out of you testing someone, that is when you know what the person brings to the table. Because if you ask someone, what do you bring to the table? I would lie and tell you anything I want to tell you. Maybe the lady thinks you are rich. She will tell you, I can clean, I can cook like Cardi B. I don't clean, I don't cook, but this time around, I can cook and I can clean and I can do this. And she might be lying to you, but you can bring her to your house and see what she's going to take care of. And then you say, okay, she's willing to take care. You can give her money, sometimes give her 5,000, 20,000, and see how she's going to handle it. Then you are seeing those qualities, and then you can say, she has a lot she brings to the table. What's your viewpoint on that? Because for me, I think men are lazy to do due diligence. What they are looking for is just short-term things. And now we start blaming women also that, oh, women are just looking for gold, while we ourselves practice the same thing. What's your viewpoint on that? Miss D, while you answer, Miss D, I will be reading out your question very soon. So proceed with that stuff that I just analyzed.
Yes, I see. Yeah, I would like to agree with you on the fact that I think everyone is literally lazy. To make inquiries into like how individuals think, what they do, where they are from. People don't really want to know. They just want to like you're right. It's just a situation of trying to gratify and trying to satisfy instant gratification and all that. So people just want to like get is everybody after the rush, right? Everybody wants to get like the taste of the other partner, and then it becomes a messy situation where when there's a form of trouble, you're able to run away as fast as you can. So I think like people just need to like put in the work right into relationship. It should be anything that requires hard work. It's not something that can work like as soon as possible. It requires hard work. You need to like calm down, understand the person, contribute to the person's life. What's it called? Encourage the person. You need to. It's hard work. It's the same way like you are applying for a job, right? And you have to like type a new CV for every job you are applying for, not like you're repeating the same CV for the same job, right? So in the same way, people need to like use do things that would be towards understanding their partners, and then not asking what do you bring to the table after you have gotten your gratification, you have gotten your pleasure and all that. Yeah, can you hear me? Am I audible? So yes, people just need to understand themselves better in terms of this, what they bring to the table, and not continue to argue over what's not. It's a situation of two different parties clashing. Yeah, so yeah, please, there's
Sorry,
many
my
of people who
network
do people froze, right? Yeah, so as I said, it's a situation of two other people clashing concerning their interests. So people need to like work hard in the relationship in terms of contributing, in terms of get to know their partners, and doing things that would make the question what do you bring to the table strange. So it's a situation where people just need to work hard, right? And I also agree that people are actually lazy about relationship or taking steps in a relationship.
Okay. Miss D asked a question. Thanks for that answer. Miss D asked a question. She said, how would he or you want a lady to answer the question? Now, I probably did not get that word right. How would he or you want a lady to answer the question? What does she bring to the table? Now, do you think that it is also okay for a lady to ask a guy, what do you bring to the
What do you
table? I know most ladies wouldn't ask the question because most ladies are kind of very sensitive and they know exactly what you do and they know exactly the stage of your life. You understand? Are
Yeah,
you getting my point? You
I
understand?
understand you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most lady can see a man and they know exactly what that man is, except the man is a scammer or a fraudster trying to defraud her. You understand? But I'm saying that it is the
Yeah.
men that are asking these questions. And for men to keep asking women, what do they bring to the table? It seems as if they are not doing their due diligence. Because, like I said, it took me about 4 or 5 months to even approach my wife. I had to study her, I had to study her family. I knew where she was coming from, and I knew they were respectful in their family. Some of these other ladies I was talking about, they don't care about anything. All they want is just that emotional connection, and then, give me money, let us go to the club, let us go to the parties, and the rest of it. So I believe that men are lazy in the way they handle relationship. Now, are women also lazy? I believe in a sense that some women are also lazy in the way they approach relationship. But there are certain things that actually affect us at this junction. And part of it, I want to ask you the question. Part of it, we are still going to go into the political space, how our politics or economy affects our relationship. But let us first of all ask this question: that do you think education is part of the factor that plays out into this in modern relationship that is making us have more breakup? Seems that the more we are having this education and we are becoming more intelligent, we are making wrong choices. So do you think education
Yeah.
affects relationship?
Yeah, so when we look at the factor education, right? It's and how it has affected relationships so far. I would say it's just one of numerous factors, and the influence of education might just be like a minute influence compared to other factors. So how education actually affects relationships will be in the form of everybody is right and nobody wants to accept a wrong. Nobody wants to accept he or she is wrong. So it's a situation of pride, and I will not say it's intelligence because you can't say you're intelligent and you're not willing to understand your partner. So it's beyond intelligence, right? It's a situation where everybody feels you are right. Just with little knowledge, you feel you with little information you feel you're knowledgeable, whereas you're just ignorant. So people just need to understand not having so much information might even be a bliss. It might actually be a blessing in disguise rather than having so much information. Like I used to tell a friend that you don't need to go for all these marriage seminars or all these relationship clinics.
Hello, sir. Your network is lagging. I think his network is bad. There's somewhere I'm trying to drive with this topic. Hello, sir. Are you there? Now, while he fixes network issues, I would have loved to ask him a little bit on how political climate affects relationship. I would have wanted to know what role do peer groups, how does friendship affect relationship? What I mean by friendship is peer group, in a sense that guys, we kind of built in the past with being a tribe, but right now we are having friends, and a lot of oh, okay, I think he's off. Maybe he's going to be joining me. In my viewpoint, I think that most ladies trying to okay, let me hold on. So most guys, why they are in relationship with their women, sometimes I think that it is peer group or peer pressure that makes a lot of people have issues. Okay, let me add in. He's joining me back.
It was
Yeah,
network disconnection, right?
yeah. I'm thinking maybe if hair comes in, like for me now, I put it close to my window, and that's the reason why I
Oh,
can get network.
yeah, it's close to my window though. Well, I think it got switched off. Can you hear me? It got switched
Yeah.
off and then I had to switch it on again because I took it away from my window side.
Okay. Okay. So I wanted to ask you a question. Do you think that peer pressure from men affects today's relationship? That
Maybe for
means
men.
maybe due to the friends that some people have, you know, then bringing someone having a lady that they actually love. Do you think most of their friends contribute to how they have issues in their relationship, both in both ways? Some ladies also they want to be dedicated to their man, but due to their friends they have issues in relationship. Do you think peer pressure actually play a role, or do you think it's just because people are not dedicated enough or have discipline and principle? That's the reason why they most times have issues.
Yeah, so if I should consider my experiences, I would say peer pressure has little roles to play in a relationship, because I think at the end of the day, even with the whole my friend did this, my friend did that thing, right? People still make their decisions like independently, and I don't know about other what other people have faced in terms of probably listening to their friends' advice towards their relationship. For me, I don't listen to anyone's advice. It's just me, what I feel is right and what I feel is wrong. So it could be a situation of individuals trying not being decisive enough and trying to get information from their friends and their families or loved ones to make decisions for them. So some of them could be like, oh, my girlfriend did this, or my boyfriend did this, what should I do? And then no, the other one that does not understand the situation will just give a random advice. And I tell people, when you take your matter or your talk to someone else, the way you present it is the way the person will give you the advice. So if you present it in a way that takes the blame away from you, the person will give you an advice that will just be towards your own what's it called, for your own safety or for your own guidance, right? Even when you're at fault, you become deluded and you continue with that fault. So at the end of the day, you're making decision based on that information. So it's not as if the friend has influenced you. It's just based on the information you relate to the friend and then the advice you got back. So it's like a give out kind of thing. So it does not really affect, because at the end of the day, you are the one that makes the decision. So the only thing that could happen, I've had scenarios, but I've not experienced scenarios of where some friends pressure their friends to stop their relationship based on the fact that probably the guy is not financially buoyant, or the what's it called, the girl is not well to do. So it's still a matter of the decisions you make, not a situation of how they influence you.
Okay. What do you see about how our culture today affects relationship? Do you think our culture affects relationship positively today, or do you think that we have abandoned our culture and traditions in relationship, and that's the reason why there is a lot of breakup today in the dating world?
So the culture thing, I would say, if we maintain our culture, it's we might still have in the relationship that are still standing. Because for example, the Yoruba culture, it's a unique one that revolve around so many rituals and rites before marriage, right from the relationship stage down to the marriage stage and even post marriage. So when I was young, when I was doing Yoruba class, I know there's this thing about marriage that they said the first step to get married in the Yoruba culture is to do what's called Ifojusode. So Ifojusode in Yoruba term means looking outside. Then after Ifojuso, you look outside for a lady that is matured, a lady that is well to do, or a lady that suits your taste. Then the next thing is Iwadi. Iwadi means investigation. So when you investigate the family line and you try to understand whether the mothers, whether the generation have madness in their lineage, or anything you investigate, right? But but now we don't even follow that part, because when I think about it, it's a very long process. Nobody wants to go and be doing investigation or one formal introduction. So everybody just wants to jump straight. You see the girl in your street, then you tell her you like her, then you sort of, you are, before you know, sort of, you are in one corner, no? Or the same applies to the girl and all that. So I think people have abandoned these traditions. I don't know how the Igbos work. I think someone should tell me that the Igbos, you can't even engage in cohabitation as an Igbo person. It's against their rights. But now there are many Igbo girls that are cohabiting, right? So even about the Hausas, we know that in the northern part of Nigeria, if you are caught engaging in the adultery of any form, you are arrested. So when we look at our culture is actually set to manage dating, or to manage relationships, to manage flaws in what we are currently experiencing. But I think because of modernity and globalization, people are tuning towards what is trendy and what is what's it called obtain what can be obtained, let me put it that way. So people just want the instant relationship, no form of investigation. Everybody wants to go boom straight, and then relationship within and there's I know some people that got into relationship within 3 days of meeting each other, and then 3 days is even too much. Some people get into relationship about 2 days of meeting each other. They say they're already in a relationship. They say they love themselves already. So people don't really go through these guidelines again that are being set by the culture, by our cultural values and cultural rights. They just want to go straight, and that's what happens nowadays.
Mm. So one way or the other, what you're implying is that abandoning our culture and traditions are part of the things that make us suffer today in relationship. Because
Yeah,
if we were following our traditions and culture, we would do the iwadi, just like the investigation, to be
yeah.
sure that this lady, she came from a good home. This lady is a good person. She has good morals. I think we have actually lost that part, but it
Um,
still work in certain areas.
yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think that I have this viewpoint while I was a little bit younger? It worked for me, but I don't know if it would work for everyone. I tell my friends, some of them when they want to get married, I tell them that for you to get married to a lady, it is better to know where that lady is actually maybe putting her head, where she sleeps. Now, there's a sentiment around being independent. And when you use the word independence this day and you say when a woman is independent, men don't want to gravitate themselves towards that individual. And some of them think that being independent make them um, make them kind of more attracted to men and they have their own ground. But in a sense, when I look at it, oh, but in a sense, when I look at it, I believe that when women are they are living alone, it is difficult for a man to trust them and want to keep a relationship with them. Or if they are living with their friend, perhaps you don't know what they are actually doing or what they do. So you might not be able to wrap your head around the lady.
Yeah.
There's some noise I'm hearing at the background. That
Yeah.
bam, bam.
It's like a call or something. But text the person. Yeah. The call is.
So do you think that it is proper for a man to, when you want to date a lady, do you think you just go to her house right now, or it is important before you date a lady, you have to know where she comes from, and where she comes from is who are her family, where does she reside, what is their morals and all of that. And now, don't get me wrong, a lot of them, they may have a family who is religious, and the moment they step out, they are living a different life. And some of them, they already understand that their family have maybe certain barbaric way of living life, and they are trying to fix themselves. But I think when someone is independent, do you encourage men in your viewpoint to go after most of these ladies who are actually independent? What's your take on it?
So it's the situation of people being open to other people or their experiences. So we cannot just say because you are living alone and then person is a bad girl, or because you are living alone, you are living with your friend, then your people are doing you're into runs, you're into hookup or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's so people just need to be open to the fact that the girl is staying alone does not mean she's doing something bad. It could be the fact that she's making so much and then she needs that privacy, or the fact that she needs a place that is closer to where she works. Of course, I understand that a lady staying alone makes her vulnerable to so many things. I mean, nobody wants to stay alone because you're staying alone. That means that you start getting all sort of what's it called, visits from people that you don't even want to come and visit you. So for a guy, you need to. That's why we also we talk about, you know, getting to know the person and getting to know the person deeply, like doing your proper investigation and your proper, analysis of the person before making decision of entering into that relationship. And I think for guys that are even unwilling to enter into relationship with ladies that stay independently, it also could be a situation of not even thinking of the fact that maybe the lady is into something that is negative. It could be a situation of their ego massaged. So some people feel threatened by a lady that is that is independent. So they'll be like, if a lady that is independent, if I cannot a lady that is independent, it means she will probably just kick me out or have nothing to do with me at some point. So for some men, they just use that. Oh, since she is independent, that means she's into something shady as a form of defense to guiding their ego, because they don't want to be in a relationship with someone that is independent. So it's still that around that dynamics of people have to understand who that lady is. You can't just assume. Of course, we have situations in Nigeria nowadays of girls camping together and then engaging in so many idiot things, right? But at the same time, we can't just make that decision. Of course, once you know where a lady works, for instance, and she's staying on her own, that gives you an insight that probably this girl is making so much. I mean, a girl that is making like 500,000 naira in Nigerian naira now per month. I mean, that kind of person can afford to rent an apartment for herself because probably she don't want to be seeing her parents and all the wahala of family. So that's how I feel it works.
Okay. You're actually right. I had to take a different route on it to see what your viewpoints are. But in a sense, I think that also we have certain challenges, and it is easier for people to, for a long-lasting relationship. Do you think that you can actually, if you date a lady, if you're dating a lady, do you think it should be important that the lady knows your family or you know her own family while you're dating her? Or do you think that these things have to, take maybe a period of 6 months before we start making decisions to do that? Because at the end of the day, when we make a decision that we want to date someone, for most people, what they are actually looking for is to have sex. And the moment sex is involved, at the end of the day, I'm not knowing your family. You're not even committed to knowing my family because you think I'm living an independent life. And we just start, moving around. I believe also, looking at it from this angle, I believe that a lot, when there's no one that holds both of you when you're in a relationship, it is easy for that relationship to collapse because marriage is not as good as a lot of people think it is. And what I mean by that statement is, don't think that every day you wake up when you're married with someone, you're just going to be excited, excited, excited. Sometimes you might feel like leaving the relationship. Sometimes you want to step away from the marriage. Maybe the importance of family in marriage is to make sure they remind you of your past life, in a sense that where you're coming from, and to make you understand the importance of family. And that's what family actually do. But when it comes to the aspect of dating, do you think it is very important that this person knows your family? Or do you think that it should just be a normal thing? Let's take up with sex for a very long time and then I can ask you to come know my family without doing those due diligence.
So in the Nigeria of today, I would advise that you get to know your families, right? So even if you are going to be having sex with each other, which I cannot control or which I cannot say anything about, I will not be a moral police to this. I'll say it's important to know your family because as a guy, you don't want to be in trouble. You don't want to be in trouble. What if the girl is one girl that is a sickler, and then some of you are in a relationship, or she comes over to sleep over, and then something happens? How would you explain yourself to the police? No, how would you explain yourself to the neighbors, not because of the police? So you need to know,
Yes,
you need to get to know your family. So then
yes.
then the girl too, nowadays we have situation of ritualists disguising as Yahoo boys and tech boys. So as a girl, you need to know that as a girl, you can't just go out. You can't just go out to anybody's house and stay and say you are in the name of relationship or name of dating. Your family needs to be aware. They need to be aware of where you are going to, so that you don't fall victim. You don't fall victim of rape. You don't fall victim of ritual or any other thing. So even if you want to be having sex, fine, and you feel this sex might not help the relationship to stay longer. Still endeavor to let the person know your family, and because at the end of the day, what people should do instead of the other option of not telling your family anything and then people continue having the sex or having fun, the option is talk to your parents that, see, life has changed. Because I brought this guy to the house, don't mean that I'm going to marry him. So anything can happen in the future, and then we split. So it's not him and all. So you need to speak to your parents that, it's just in the phase where you're just getting to know each other. So anything can happen. So, but I still understand that because some people are not free with their parents, and maybe probably those in the Christian homes now, if you can bring someone, and that they will just think, oh, that's your husband or that's the wife. So, by the same time, people just need to be logical about their approach. By the same time, it's just for protection. You don't want, we should not pray for anything bad to happen. It's just for protection. You need someone to talk to and say, this person knows this person in case anything happens. So there are even cases of domestic violence that are underreported because the family or the girl has not introduced the guy to anyone else. So in a situation where domestic violence is experienced, what do? You can arrest the guy, fine, but I can tell you can run away with it, especially in this current Nigerian judicial system.
You mean the guy can run with it? That is, if he is wealthy, right?
Yes, he can run away with it if he's wealthy and if nobody knows him with you. So he could just tell that, no, see, nobody knows you. As in, he could just frame something up and say it was just like a casual thing that probably the girl is one of those girls. So, but if your family know you with him or something like that, at least they can still like, we know this guy now. We know his address, we know what he does and all that. So they can really help to defend you and protect you and all that. So people just need to understand the role of communication, like informing someone, probably your family member. Your friends could sly you. So I'll not even say friends. Telling your friend that, I'm in a relationship with this guy is not, and your friends could even sly you with the potential partner. So if your family always protects you, so it's very important that someone introduce that person. So it doesn't mean that you marry the person. That one is, we know that in Nigeria, people, you can introduce like 5 persons to your family and then you don't marry any of them.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, before we move to the next one, there's this experience that I would have loved to share. There's a lady, she came into these are estate, and then she's a maid. She said she wants to be a maid. So I was interviewing her, not for me, she's not a maid for me. Like, there's a landlady there that actually needed somebody. And then I asked, when they brought the lady, I started asking her questions. She said she already has a boyfriend and all of that. But maybe because of the way the woman over there, the landlady was treating her, she did not feel okay with it. And then before we know, she started moving around. God save this lady. There's an hotel within this estate where there are these guys they call Yahoo boys. They come in and the rest of it. So the lady was now looking for, who can I date? Then she started moving with these guys. One day, while they were driving out of the estate, she realized that there was a mask. This mask, whenever armed robber go and steal, those masks. She
Yeah.
realized there's a mask inside the car, and the guys were sitting. So she had to lie to them to tell them that someone called me. I actually want to do something. I'll come and meet you out there. But if this lady has done her due diligence in the sense that, okay, before I commit myself to you, I would like to know where you come from as a guy, and you should know where I come from. That means, what I mean is, you're right on that point. Like, I inform my family that I'm having an affair with this person, or we are dating, not affair like sex, but we are dating. So remember the story that just happened not quite long about these two girls that One man
Yeah.
from, is it from US or something? What's his name again?
I
That
did
he
not really
killed.
follow the story, but there didn't like, one girl, a guy invited some girls over, and then the girls got killed or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
I
remember the story.
believe that, yeah, and I believe he did that because he knew the girl's family are not aware that they are coming to his place. So let's now move to the next side. But I have my conclusion on it is if you're dating someone, you have to be able to build up communication skills with your parents on who you are dating. But unfortunately, not every parent would want to support you because they are going to be
Like,
seeing things from their own angle and their own perspective. And this is one of the things where we are having issues. But it is
yeah,
basically for the, you know, it's basically for the protection of their daughter and the protection of the man. I was having a discussion with someone yesterday, and the person was actually telling me about the guy that came from Nigeria. There was a news we were listening to, is it earlier this year or maybe late last year, about a lady, a guy who is a Nigerian and he went to date a lady, a white lady, and the lady killed him at the end of the day, and they did not get justice for that lady. Oh, sorry, for the guy.
for
If the lady had known the family of the guy and if the guy had known the family of the lady, it's possible they might be able to inform the guy about what's going on. You
definitely.
understand? Because most guys are just looking at the beauty of a woman, and they don't understand that most women will put a lot of they will invest a lot in their beauty, but when you go through their family, you can know their belief system and what they think like. And then you have someone you can communicate with in case she's probably misbehaving. Maybe there's little issues between the both of you. At least you have someone you can say, "Oh, I have been having some conflict with my sister. Can you, with my wife, sorry, or my fiance? Can you please call her and put her in order, or help us in one way or the other?" These are the importance of relationship. But what? Let me now ask you the next question. How do you see the communication skills of Nigeria today with our women? Do you think we are communicating effectively now, or do you think that there is there is no real good communication among us right now?
Okay, so for my experience, I will not from my experience, I cannot say about others. For my experience, I would conclude based on certain things I discovered and certain things I had to do. So I realized that apart from romantic relationships, just normal relationships, people tend to lack this form of ethical or appropriate physical interaction. In the sense that once that phone, these are our cell phones, our smartphones with us, we tend to keep pressing it even while talking to someone else, which is wrong. So it translates to relationships. So there was this Uber guy that I boarded his what's it called, vehicle, and he told me that he was a victim of domestic violence. That was like the first time I was actually what's it called, listening to someone, say a man, saying he was a victim of domestic violence. So I'm like, how did this happen? Like, what happened? Then the guy said that, oh, see, you see this relationship thing, you need to understand yourself better. He said back then, before the whole marriage stuff, some of them would just be in the house. The husband is pressing phone, the wife is pressing phone. Only when they need their help, maybe they want to probably cook or probably have sex, that's when they now come and drop the phones and start talking. So I think at the end of the day, it's a problem. It's an epidemic, or how can I use, like, it's a problem everywhere, right? Everybody, people have issues with like communicating, saying out their plans clearly to their partners or other people. People just need to like say it out, say it the way it is, even if you're going to be rude. That brings in the situation that the person has accepted who you are, and then it's willing to like talk over it and all that. So people just need to learn how to like drop that phone and talk. Not like, see, online is different from offline. Online you can create all sort of emotion. You can say, oh, I'm happy but you're sad. You can say, oh, I'm laughing, though but you're frowning. So, but when you see someone physically and you're saying it the way it is with the right emotions, you're not smiling, you're serious. But I know you're serious. So people need to like remove all barriers towards communication before creating that communication patterns with their partners. So that's my point. I cannot really say everybody's having communication issues currently. But from my experience, I know people that have said they have had communication. So even for friends that I have around my area, once you start pressing that phone and I'm talking to you, I'm done. Just continue pressing the phone. Because anytime I go see someone, I drop my phone. Let's talk. Let's communicate. Let's gist. So that is it. People need just to understand. But I know the other communication patterns, which involves the phone and all that. Well, people might be good at that, but when it comes to the online one, the offline one, I think people are quite poor on that.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that response. There are two things I would even touch on when it comes to communication. Maybe we can just look at it in a different aspect. Now, for me, there was a time I realized that I was not having a good relationship with my children. And in a sense that I was just too busy on the internet. And sometimes my wife wants to talk to me or my children want to talk to me and they just like coming around me to play and the rest of it. But I saw that I'm kind of stuck with my phone sometimes. So what I started doing is if I'm speaking to anyone or I'm making live not live video, but I'm maybe chatting with anyone, if my wife or my children come, I have to turn that phone upside down so that I can have time with them. And that brings me to a memory that when I went to, I think you would have heard some of my video when I talked about going to jail and the rest of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was there, what I noticed about my brain, and I think it's also applicable to a lot of people, despite all the movies I've been watching, or despite all the things I've been seeing online, the social media, the podcast, and the rest of it, in the next 4 days, the only thing that comes up to my mind was how have I been relating with my family? Like after 2 weeks, I could not necessarily remember things that I was watching on social media. So that means sometimes when we are on social media, on Instagram, and we are scrolling, spending the whole days there, you most likely will forget it the next day. But what you are actually doing is depriving your children and your family the right things, the benefits that they need to have. Because at the end of the day, when you find yourself in a tough situation, this relationship with those people, the memory only is good enough to take you, at least it make you stay in peace.
Yeah.
You understand? So I think that particular aspect is true. And one of the thing I will touch on regarding this particular subject, do you know this man they call Jordan B. Peterson?
Yeah. He's a psychologist.
Yes, he's a psychologist. He said something, and I held that quote very well. He said, when you are talking to people and they are not listening to you or they are doing something else, he says, stop talking. He said, because the more you keep talking, you are diminishing the
Your value.
value of your words, right? So
Yeah.
if you are in a relationship with someone, the right thing to do is that when you tell the person to drop down their phone, I know most ladies sometimes they will say that's rude, but you need to put it as a way of telling a lady that this is our how I want our relationship to be. So whenever we are having conversation, can we please keep our phone aside? And I think that because we are not taking it serious, that's one of the reasons why we are having issues in communication, just like you pointed out. But sometimes, even the guys who are supposed to stipulate it or to just say, okay, can we agree on not using our phone whenever we are having discussion? Most of the guys are addicted. But ladies, most ladies, the time they would even tell you to drop your phone is when there's a problem. You
Yeah.
understand? Because in fact, social media is just like meant for ladies are more social than men. Then
Definitely.
put them on social media. They are just there doing their braid, wigging their eyes, doing a lot of things, eyelashes and every other thing, and they are just with their phone. So the only person at some point that can also help in shaping relationship are the men. And I think when men are not aware and they begin to act like women holding their phone 247 and start operating it, that possibly can contribute to the breakdown of the relationship. Do you
Definitely.
agree with that?
Yeah, I strongly agree with that. Yeah, I think men need to take charge of that aspect. You need to tell your woman that, see, drop that phone, let's talk. You understand? Like that quality time. People don't. I don't know. People don't realize. I think social media has really ruined a lot of things. People don't realize the fact that that quality time you spend talking to your spouse or your partner is so precious. It's that thing that you could just be walking along the road and then you remember that those little jokes, you understand. But when you are in a relationship and then half the day the one part person is pressing phone, person B is pressing phone. I know that, don't forget that we sleep up to 6 hours a day, right? Half the day that they spend 12 hours plus 6 hours, that's 18 hours. Then the other hours are used for probably cleaning the house or probably cooking and the like. So you just wasted it. So what keeps a relationship itself is not even like my grandparents, right? Anytime they fight, I grew up with them, right? And anytime they fight, one thing that keeps them together are memories. They were that talking about the things that they did back then and that they did together, right? So those things, could just create or strike a conversation. So people need to understand the value of these things and not throw them away because we now have technologies. So we just need to like practice these things and then as a guy take charge, right? Take charge of your communication.
Mm. Thank you for that. Now let's look at it from this other angle. Now, the next side that we let's look at this particular aspect. What do you think that finance is doing? How does financial issues affect our relationship in today's world?
It's it's crazy, right? Because I think I was listening to a not a podcast, like a YouTube video recently, and the person said we should not expect things to get better. In fact, things will get worse. So yeah, things will get worse. So in terms of economic hardship or say the economy in general, I think things are getting hard, and then these things are affecting relationships. People are like thinking of ways to manage, not even manage. It could be like ways to like because the average Nigerian guy wants to impress. That's I'm not saying all Nigerian guys. The average Nigerian guy wants to impress the girl. Like if the girl comes in, you want to just show that you're the boss or you're the man. You want to spend.
Mm,
So but at the same time, with the way things are going now, you wanting to impress might really put you at a loss. So people just have to like, be careful and all that. Start reducing their expenses and all that. So it affects how they interact with their partners in the sense that they have to like reduce their spending, and then the woman too that doesn't understand what's going on is also surprised that why are you reducing our spending. Some women don't want to understand. So why some women understand the situation. So it still goes back to your initial stage of the relationship. If the relationship was born out of you guys understanding yourself, or two educated folks understanding themselves very well, understanding the situation, they'll probably scale through the hard times and then navigate their way out of it. Like it could be a form of say engaging in a business, coming together to form a business or doing something. But in the case where they don't even understand themselves, probably the guy has been the one that's balling. Is a baller. They get in that relationship with the mindset that the guy is rich. You understand? Probably it's just a form of delusion. The guy is not actually rich. So in the case of economic downturn or hardship like we're currently facing, there's a tendency for that relationship to collapse. So the initial or the pre-context or the scenario, the event that took place before the relationship could actually determine how the economy affects relationship. In general terms, actually, economy affects relationship. Whether you're married or you're single, or or I don't know, economy affects relationships. Anyhow you put it, people have to spend less. or people have to like don't even spend at all, or the man starts complaining. Like I have a friend of mine that was complaining about his girlfriend and all that. You know, one thing I saw about that stuff was frustration. But I could not tell him though. And I knew that
Why do
he was. I could not tell him, of course. I knew if I tell him he was frustrated, you'll be looking at he was arguing from his own perspective. He was arguing that oh, the girl is spending money anyhow. They finish eating a pot of soup that was like 10,000 naira and all that. So my own I tell him that guy, you're frustrated. Like you're frustrated in the sense that you're probably not earning as much as you were earning, or you're spending more than you were. So you can't tell the girl that you are not we need to cut our expenses, right? So these are the things that affect how people relate in their relationship.
okay, okay. I think on the aspect of finances, how I view it, I believe that there can be crisis in economy anytime. But when you're getting married to someone, most times the reason why it dissolves is not necessarily because of money. Most times, my viewpoint on it, the reason why people break up is because they don't have a vision in that marriage. Now, when there is no vision in a marriage, you don't have a goal. In a sense, when just imagine it, let us look at it this way. We have a plan that we want to open a school. Me and my wife, for example, we say we want to open a school. When we get married, we want to build this so house. This is how we want to raise our children. And you don't have to focus everything on your children. You don't have to focus everything on the business. You don't have to focus any of all those things. But because you guys have a dream you are working on, what you actually want to do, whenever there's maybe financial issues, you understand that this is part of the journey of your relationship because both of you have clearer view of where you are actually heading to. And
Definitely.
since the beginning of time, people always get broke. Maybe you are married or not, people get broke in relationship. But lack
Yeah.
of vision is what is actually affecting people. So when you pick a lady, maybe she's not working and she decides to be a full housewife, and she comes to you, she's just like, okay, take care of me, and she start expecting everything from you. But if you have a vision and you use that woman also for your advantage. You know, there's this thing you I know you're a Christian, right?
Yeah. I'm a
Okay.
Christian.
Looking at the Bible, when God asked Adam to go and till the ground and go and farm and do the rest of it, he abandoned his wife at home. He wasn't
Okay.
using her to show the vision of what they actually need to do in the Garden of Eden. And the Yoruba adage will say, "Ọwọ́ tó bá dilẹ̀ lèṣù ń lò." The idea of working is sometimes not for money. Sometimes you're working towards a vision. So if Adam was carrying his wife during that time to say, okay, while I'm going here, you don't necessarily have to till the ground just like me, but understand how this business is working in this Garden of Eden. Most likely, the devil would not be able to tempt her.
You're not a
I
victim.
don't know if you're getting it, but the idea of work is for vision. The idea of work is not necessarily for money because money comes and go. So
Definitely.
the way I view it, oh God, I've been broke in my relationship with my wife. I've been, when they say broke, like crash, like plane crash, is
Zero naira.
0.00000. And she was still there simply because she knew the vision, she knew the plan, and she knew that everything I was doing working is just for that particular goal. And after we achieve that goal, we have other visions we want to achieve. So finances would not really affect a relationship if both of you have clearer understanding of the journey of your life. I don't know if that make any sense to you or if there's any other thing you think contrary to what I say.
Yeah, it makes sense to me, I think it's a situation of in the dating during the dating phase. No, you have made known your plans to each other. So it's not a situation of it happened and then everybody's like, oh, how did it happen? So even when it happened, everybody knows why it happened. So it's not like when you became broke, nobody was surprised. You were probably surprised, but probably your wife was not even surprised. Probably she knew that, oh,
Yeah.
it was him. So people are like these things are things that people need to talk about. So people ask, what do we talk about in a relationship? Like what do we see? These are the things you need to talk about. These things, money, because at the end of the day, you cannot afford to go in a relationship with someone that gets freaked out at the slightest economic downturn. Some people get freaked out. Some people start doing crazy stuff. Some people start misbehaving. There's situations where people divorce because of the guy became broke. So you need to understand, talk about these things during the dating scene. These are the things that make the dating self sweet. Because when you talk about person brings his ideas, person says, "Oh, me, I cannot become broke. If I become broke, I went relationship." You begin to pick little things from there, and be like, "Oh no, no, I don't do that." So these are the things people need to talk about actually.
Yeah, because when we look at it this way, I don't think there's anyone who goes into a relationship and thinking that, oh, you are dating an average man. I'm not a billionaire. You understand? I'm struggling. And how would you go into a relationship without understanding that there's a possibility that we might not have enough, but what do we have that we are looking up to that can help us towards this journey of our marriage? So
Yeah.
going to going into relationship and thinking that you would never get broke is not realistic. One day
Actually,
you
yeah.
will get broke. Even Tinubu and the whole big people, yes, they might not be as broke as us, not to, they wouldn't see it that way. Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
what. But sometimes you might demand certain things. Maybe this time in their own level, you need a jet, and he used to get you all kinds of things before, and he was able to afford it. And this time he's not able to afford it. Rather than him giving you 100,000 every week, maybe this time he can only give you 5,000 every week. But if you both have the vision, it's going to help at the end of the day. So let us just look at this particular aspect. How do you see religion? That's one of my favorite topics. How do you see religion playing a role in our today's dating scene?
Mm. Well, maybe so this question actually is something that I think is still something that I still find difficult to relate to because for me, if someone asks me, "Are you a Christian?" I'll say yes. Someone asks me, "Do you go to church?" I'll say no. Someone asks me, "Do you believe in Christ?" I'll say yes. I don't believe in God. I'll say yes. So people ask me why don't you go to church? So I tell the person I am illuminated. Like I see things differently now. Like I understand the scam in in the Nigerian churches that you don't understand. So I think I cannot really say I cannot give an authoritative statement on how religion affects relationship. But what I just know is that people tend to form relationships with people that they feel their religious beliefs align together. Like Muslim, Christian. So that you find out that people engage in this is going to my church kind of relationship and then they get married. But coming down to the secular scene or how hypocritical Nigerians can be. Let me say Nigerians, let's say Africans. How hypocritical Africans can be. I find that some people say, do you know how someone asks a question that says, do you know how many rounds of sex takes place every night in Lagos State? And I could not answer it. But now like estimate like millions of sex rounds are going on every night. I'm like, hey, wow, that is nice. Then I'm not thinking about it. Do you know how many sex rounds go on among church members? Like members of the church within the same parish or whatever church building. Like I can tell you that like almost every church there's one guy and one girl that actually having sex with each other and like premarital sex, not even like marital sex. So the whole religion thing, right, is like the religion thing and relationship is like the religion thing is even making the relationship dynamic worse. So, for instance, one brother that you should be holy in church has probably had sex with one sister that you feel should be holy in church, and the other person that actually they will still call it dating in quotes, and then that person leaves that relationship and goes on to the another relationship because of the breakup and all that. So for me, it's still around that level of hypocrisy because people end up getting heartbroken or engaging in failed relationships even in the face of what ought not to be. So I would say religion is like making relationships worse. If you should consider religion as a factor, it's like a negative factor. I would say. I don't know about others, but from my own experience, I know situations of individuals breaking up, like getting their first heartbreak from one brother in church, or married Muslims having sex with another married, maybe a married Muslim married having sex with another married woman that is married to another person. So like when I look at the two major religions, Islamic and Christianity, I would say it's negative. But I don't know about traditional religion though, or the Buddhist. So I'll just say that in Nigeria's scenario, in Nigeria's scene, I'll say there's a negative association between the religion and relationship.
Hmm. Thank you for that. Because for me, when it comes to the aspect, there are questions people ask me sometimes, and I kind of flip the answer. When people ask me, "Am I a Christian?" I only answer them and I tell them that if my lifestyle do not show the act of Christ, don't call me a Christian. I'm not fit to be called a Christian.
Yeah,
So I don't
okay.
box myself into any religion. It's like it is your character that
That
matters,
yeah.
not about the whole stuff. But today we can see how pastors, I think pastors are one of the people that most ladies, when they go to church, they respect their pastors more than they respect their husband,
Yeah.
because their pastor is the one who speaks from, is the mouth of God, the mouthpiece of God. And at the end of the
Supposedly
day, you see the mouthpiece of God graping people
once.
in the church. So in my own perspective, I think that religion is I don't want to use it like religion, like I'm just focusing on the whole religion thing, but I think it's not helping our dating scene, because there was a time when you want to get someone that you're going to get married to and that relationship is going to last. The church is the best place you can get somebody. But right now, we accept a lot of things. Look at Christianity. Before you know, Catholic now, they contribute in this gay marriage and gay and lesbian marriages. And now we can see how these things continuously spread, and it's affecting all relationship in every way and in any dynamic you can even think about. So for me, I would say that I agree with you on that, that religion is not actually helping relationship as of now. So
Yeah, another thing I want to say, another
let
thing I
us
want to
look
say
at,
is, yeah, another thing I want to say about that religion is, okay, if I should like come down to like people's level in terms of say, um you can get your partner from the church, right? I would say, the
yeah,
religion in itself creates a false persona of who you should look up to as a suitable partner. So for Christianity, for those in the Christianity religion, for instance, they want to see one brother that is dressed in suit and tie, or probably tucked in, or and then is well dressed and is looking holy brother kind of vibe. But at the end of the day, it's still false because you don't know this person for who he is. You have to like still get to dig deep before you enter into a relationship with that person, right? So, for instance, I've
yeah,
seen a situation where a woman married a pastor. Yeah, I don't. Let me see my neighbor. Nobody knows my house. Let me see my neighbor, right? So this man is a pastor. The wife is not a what's it called, a an ordained minister. However, they got married. So they just packed him recently, and before we know, we had this fight. and then the man was threatening the woman. This man is a pastor, for crying out loud. He was threatening the woman because the daughter actually hung her neck along a burglary fitting. So it was very difficult to bring out the girl's neck out of the burglary. So the girl was now shouting that, hey, what did you do to my daughter? Then we later got to know that issue was resolved fine, but we later got to know that this man frequently beats his wife. That means the one is like a victim of domestic abuse. So what do we say about
Okay.
those Christian brothers? What do you say about those Christian brothers that people expect to be all righteous, and at the end of the day, they turn out to be what's it called? Um a different animal or different beast. So I think religion itself might create a false persona of who you should marry. And there are many girls that they are bad girls on a normal day. They go to the club, they vibe, they put on different things that are contrary to like Christian and what a Christian girl should wear. But on Sunday, you see them dressed as the holiest of holies. They don't wear extra lashes. They dress very well. Everything is well covered. But we know low key that these girls are bad girls. Nobody knows in the church, but people outside the church. So the first persona that the church protects this persona actually. How do they protect it? They tell people to dress that way. They don't allow this freedom or acceptance for people dressing or exhibiting themselves the way they are. So they protect that false persona, and then people enter into that trap of dating someone that should not be dated in the first instance.
Okay. Okay. So we both agree that religion is not really helping right now because the idea of religion was to build our morality, and the spiritual side is like you have to get close to God. It gives you salvation. But at the end of the day, religion is not building people's morality. Now, I don't know if there are exceptions, maybe those people that it actually helps, but I rarely find. And I always ask myself this question. I'm like, if everyone has good morality, if you are well behaved and you have good moral behaviors, would we need religion in the first place?
Hmm.
So it's because we are immoral, we now think that okay, we have to bring in religion to correct it. And now the institution that is brought as religion to correct us, to make us more moral, that religion is already corrupt.
Flawed.
So at the end of the day, it's not useful to an African nation or African system, maybe Nigeria specifically, because the way Nigerians think is kind of different. So let us summarize this. So let us just round up some things. By I want to ask you a question. If you want to get a lady, if anyone is seeking of, okay, I want to get married to a woman in Africa or a man in Africa, what do you think that should be the signs and the things that they should be looking out to when they want to get a woman or a man to date in Nigeria? Maybe let's just use Nigeria specifically. What are the expectations?
So what are the expectations? Well, I don't know. I think it's a personal stuff, and like I said, I would not want to be a moral police to this thing. I would only say, different things works for different stores work for different folks, right? So different strokes for different folks. People just need to understand who they are and what they want in quotes before deciding to select someone. Know what you want. Like you should
And
know. Like it should be like something that
what
you are probably written down somewhere, or by heart. This is what I want. And like I said, different stuff work for different folks, right? So for example, if it was me, I could be someone that I need a girl that can work hard. It could be for someone else. It could be that the person needs a girl that can cook. They don't need the girl to work hard. So you need to know these things before you now go out for that kind of girl. The girl that suits it's like a job application. It's like you can't fit in a round peg into a square hole. It will not work. So you have to know what you want or what you need. It might not be what you want actually. It might be what you need. Because some people don't, some people want might actually put them in trouble. You might actually want a girl that is round and looking all beautiful, and then you marry the girl, and the girl puts you in one big trouble. It might be what you need. It might be someone that can compliment you. You might be a businessman, for crying out loud, that needs someone that is smart, that can probably give you an idea that can help you to sustain your business. Or might not be something materialistic, might be something that a girl that is a good communicator, for instance, that you just want someone that can be talking to you, and then you want to pass down that gene to your next generation. So these are things people need to look out for before deciding out. So how do you select now? It's not like a dynamics that I cannot really say much about, because if I say do this, it's already flawed. If I say do that, it's already flawed. If I say okay, maybe you choose a girl that is in your street, that could land into one big trouble or a mess that you don't know. If I say, maybe someone that you know very, very long time, maybe your schoolmates, people hide their behaviors for a very long time and then appear a different way when they get married. So it's already flawed, fine. But I think what people one key metric that people can use is understanding your potential partner's flaws. You should just pray that person exhibit that flaw. You understand? When that person exhibits the flaw, then decide whether to accept it or not.
Hmm. Well, thank you for that. For me, I think that whenever you want to date certain people, there should be certain expectation. And when we use the word date or marry, when you're coming to Africa, for example, to marry a lady in Africa, you know what you should be expecting. If you're going to marry a guy in Africa, you know what you should be expecting. If you're going to any other country, Western, Mexico, they should have an identity of what works for them. So what I was implying by that with that question is that how can we get the right people to have a long-lasting relationship? So to get someone to get a long-lasting relationship requires certain things. And part of the things that it requires is probably someone who is patient. But you rightfully pointed out that different strokes for different folks. That means that we might look at it in different angle, in a sense that um, if you're a businessman, there's a kind of woman that is suitable to you. So what kind of woman would you go for, right?
Yeah.
But there are certain things that you can debate when it comes to culture and tradition. And that's the question I'm asking. Like, how do you get the right person in Nigeria? Because we are actually having issues. What do you think about Lagos dating right now? How do you see Lagos dating right now?
It's a mess. It's actually a mess. Like, everybody's after this instant gratification. Like, you want to have like quick sex, quickies, and let me just say this as it is. The guys that are willing to pay, the girls are looking for the money. So it's a mess. Like, people jump in and jump out of relationship like as if it is, it's nothing. And it's a mess because people like are becoming, it's affecting their psychology and also affecting their health. So their psychology in what sense? And I study psychology, and one of the things that I understand is so when you want to sleep with like multiple partners, right? You begin to devoid yourself of that feeling of care or feeling of genuine love. And then once you become emotionally numb, you don't see the feeling in other people again. You don't, because the that little desire that you should normally have for just one person is already lost. So except you just stop doing that, that's when that thing can highly come back. So people just need to understand that it's making you a narcissistic person, because you begin to think of yourself alone, your pleasure, not the pleasure of that person. So psychologically, I'll say psychologically and physically, because of, the diseases that are being spread from here to there, it's a mess in Lagos State. The dating pool in Lagos State is actually a mess.
So can you just hint us how you got the good woman you have?
How I got a good
What's the
woman,
method? Yeah, so
Yeah,
that if I want my brother to date someone in Lagos, I might say, okay, follow through the principle of Mr. Adeola Olubodi.
I would say I was lucky, right? I would say I was lucky. It's not
Sorry,
like
wait. Sorry, let me hold you there. Were you lucky, or were you deliberate about the woman you choose?
yeah, I was not really deliberate. It was like luck for me because I did not. I'm really sorry. In case she watches this, I'm really sorry because I know I did not really put in like the effort. She was the one that put in the effort, and and it was all nice because I actually told her that I'm one of the person that believes in this. I don't believe what to you we meet today or we meet during the week, and then within 1 week you're telling me that you love me. It does not work. So that was what I told her when we met. I thought let's get to know each other, and I think for now, despite numerous fights, arguments, even I'll admit that I also like cheated and all that, but at the same time,
Ah,
but at the same time, no, it's all resolved now. But at the same time, we were able to like sort our differences, and then, you know,
no,
so
no
like,
wonder.
like, so it was
You said
like
you
a
don't.
situation of, how do you say?
You said you don't want to be a moral police.
Yeah, I'm not a moral police. Yeah, I
Yes.
can't be a moral
Yeah.
police. Yeah, but at the same time,
Because
yeah, at the same time, one thing I learned is due to the fact that the relationship was built over time, right? We're not like a situation of say I love you. We're able to like continue. So even in trying times and all that, we're still able to continue. So people should just learn that it's not relationship is like a marathon. It's not something that it's not the quick distance race. It's not like you run within 100 meters and you're done. You get to know yourself every day. Even when you get married, I was telling someone that when you fight during a relationship, that is like, how can I put it? You've not even that like 0% of the number of fights you will still fight in the marriage. And when you get into marriage, the fight will like go times 100. And then you have to just understand yourself and then find that strike, that balance. So it's all about loyalty and not this lust or romantic drive.
do you think that men can actually help themselves due to their testosterone drive and all those kind of being young, and you want to do this and you want to do that, you want to be in the life of many or multiple ladies? Do you think that men are just using that as an excuse that I am a man, or do you think it's because they actually lack discipline? That's the
Yeah,
reason why they find themselves in situations like that.
I think men lack discipline basically. If there's anyone that's cheated or anything, it's lack of discipline. You can hardly hold it. It's just the same way it's not food. Actually, it's not food. You just have to like try basically. I know, like, I'm not saying that, oh, I'm all righteous and all that. I'm only saying that if you engage in such, like, you are engaging like having multiple partners, it's just lack of discipline from your side. So you need to understand that one person is enough. You don't have to do, and it's almost the same, it's exactly the same thing. So people just need to understand that it's lack of discipline. It's not like the testosterone is so high that you have to bring it down by having like a one quick thing. It's people just need to understand that you can actually control it. How do you control it? You just do things, get yourself busy, do something that with your life, you know, that energy you spend disturbing one girl, just do something. You can learn a skill, watch a video,
Mm.
do something with your life. Have a friend that you go and visit and engage, you know, have fun. And people need to, like, just change their mentality about opposite sex relationship. It's not compulsory that because she's a girl, I must sleep with her, or because she's a girl, I must, be in a relationship with her. You can actually have opposite sex relationships with people, and sex will not be involved. Once you have that mentality, it saves you from that stress of falling, being a victim of, or I don't say a victim. I'll say being a perpetrator of extra or premarital affair.
Yeah, thank you for that. So I've actually raised the question: if a lady wants to get a man, what are the things that she in Nigeria? What are the expectations of what it takes to be a Nigerian man that will probably be a good man for the lady? In your
Yeah,
own, thank you.
yeah. I think it depends on the kind of guy she needs. She wants to attract. So some girls are after the money, and I'll not blame them. So I think but if you look at it, the average girl or the normal girl, I think what you need to do to attract a man, well, it's a difficult one because myself, I'm a very difficult person, right? I think you know, don't force it as a girl. You don't have to force it, and you have to be open. Girls need to be open to experiences, relationship and experiences. And a girl needs to think with their brains and not with their mind. I'm not saying that girls don't think with their brains. Though. I'm only saying that when it comes to relationship, people tend to think with how the guy is saying, "Oh, I love you," "Oh, you're beautiful," so they need to stop that and weigh in their option. So and be open. Let me put it that way. Be open, not everybody that says hi to you wants to toast you. As a Nigerian lady, especially for those that are still looking for a husband or something like that. Not everybody that says I wants to toast you. Somebody wants to be your friend, and from that being your friend could lead to a proper relationship. So being open that should be like a number one trait of someone that needs to enter into relationship with another person. It's a guy, and then being able to understand people easily, being able to communicate appropriately could attract a man to a lady. You need to say is in your mind. You need to communicate very well. If the guy is not the calling type, you should be the calling type. We cannot base ourselves on that cultural norm that says the guy has to be the one calling you all the time. Sometimes once if the guy is very busy, he cannot call. So you be the calling type. Then if the guy says, "Oh, the call is regular," he might start thinking of something that, "Oh, probably she's interested," or something like that. So you need to do things as well, celebrate the person and be like I said, being open. Being open means that doing all these things does not mean that you are trying to get that person. It might not be it cannot be like a part of your character. So when someone comes in, you know that you have worked for it. So that I feel basically. But I know it's a difficult question because I can't really say different girls want different things. So it's a quite difficult
True,
question.
true. Do you understand any qualities of maybe qualities of just an African man?
Of an African man, qualities of an African man.
Of an African
Yeah,
man, what are the
yeah, an African man is strong. An African man is able to protect his family and his what's it called his livelihood. An African man is thoughtful. An African man is like I said, is strong. An African man is realistic. An African man tries to communicate about issues. Is what's it called strong has a strong opinion. So yeah, that I'll say. I can't really mention other qualities. Can you hear
okay?
me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you, but your network is just breaking. So the sound, I can't hear you clearly whenever you're speaking. The sound just keep cutting. Are you
Oh,
using a
okay.
mic or are you using
Yeah,
an external mic?
I'm using my phone. I'm using my phone.
Okay, I'm also using my phone. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay. For guys in diaspora who wants to date an African lady, I don't want to use dates because dating. Do you agree that dating that is not leading? I'm not saying that it must lead. Dating that does not have the potential of leading to marriage or having a long-term relationship, do you think um people can still engage in it even while they understand that this might not go well?
Yeah, I think it's quite difficult because if you look at it from the moralist perspective, right, you say it is wrong. But if you look at it from what is obtainable, what is going on now, you will realize that it's something that is like normal. So people should just like focus on what works for them. If you are comfortable with it, why not? It's something that you would want to engage in premarital sex with the person before getting married to the person. Well, if it works for you, I mean, it's okay. But I just feel the person that is at a greater risk of losing the relationship faster than someone that goes directly to the marriage, goes directly into marriage. So for those that like are engaging into sex, because what people need to understand the dynamics of sex. Once you start having that sex, you know, for a guy that is looking for sex, the his attitude could change. His feeling, that's what's it called? That sense of wanting you as a woman might just might get missing. So, and then I'll now say the frequency of sex might actually cause this. It might not be like, say, but if you're like having sex like every day, back to back to back to back, because you know that because you feel you want to use that to um what's to hold on to the guy, it might not work. Actually, it might not actually work, because anything could happen. The man could just get dissatisfied at some point, and then so people just need to understand what works for them, and then understand the risk involved before deciding on what to do. Am I audible?
No. Okay. Thank thank you for that. Yeah, you're audible. I
Okay.
wanted to ask question this maybe this last question before we round up for today. I wanted to ask, there's this sentiment people have right now. I hear people say these things, and I don't know how true it is, but maybe you can help me because I'm in a very quiet environment. I don't like I was born in Lagos, but because of the noise of Lagos, I had to live there and start going elsewhere and get other things there because I
Oh,
want peace for myself. So, but when I communicate with some of my guys, some guys that I know there, and they go into the aspect of relationship, there's this new thing that trends that when men have sex, some men, when they have sex with a woman, maybe they're even pursuing the woman, the moment they have sex with that lady, they automatically begin to despise the lady. I just started hearing about it. Is it a
oh,
rampant thing in Lagos? Is it true, or maybe these guys that I'm just talking to are the weird ones?
okay, yeah, yeah. I think so. There is this syndrome called Koro syndrome. It's a sexual is a mental health sexual problem. So the Koro syndrome is a syndrome where after you have sex, you begin to feel bad about yourself. So that could translate into despising who you had sex with. So the Koro syndrome is really peculiar to those in Japan and not other areas. So I will not say that it's something that is normal in Nigeria or something that is normal in Europe. So the reason I would just say is, a guy despising a girl after sex could be that was his motive in the first place. After doing the sex, then it becomes like, oh, what was actually why did I actually waste my time? Because the deed has been done. So that's why a lady has to be careful. You need to understand the motives before engaging in anything. So the fact that they despise girls after sex could also be that there was a large expectation, a large like sexual expectation, and then when they have sex with the girl, the girl did not deliver. So then the hatred
What
comes
kind
in.
of what kind of expectation is someone having when having sex?
Yeah, people look, guys, especially with the let me come. I know we can talk about this later on. The influx of pornography has ruined many individuals' orientation of sex, and it has also ruined many individuals' understanding of, an ideal sex. So people like have like so some people like some people even like undress a girl before the girl is being undressed, and then when the girl is actually now undressed, then they begin to like the expectation would have died because what they are seeing is not what they got, not what they expected. What they got was not what they expected, and then they do all the things they have to do, and they're like, is this what I wasted my time for? So there's so many things that are actually shaping the mindset of the modern man that should not be. That's why we're not seeing rise in so many unfortunate scenarios or unfortunate issues around the world. So I'm not saying Lagos State is happening because I've not had friends talk to me about their sexual activities, but I'll say it is possible because of
Yeah,
several factors.
yeah, that chorus syndrome you're talking about, I have not looked at it before. But when I hear
Okay.
some guy says, "Oh, I know sometimes they are chasing a lady, and I think they are dedicated to that lady and the rest of it." But when it comes to the aspect of like, okay, they find the lady finally open up and they were able to have sex with the lady, then it becomes a problem. And you touched on the aspect of pornography, pornography, whatever, just
Porno-
because of the YouTube term. uh Pornography, um, maybe you're right when you say it's actually affect mental health of men, but I think that at the end of the day, the individual should be able to hold themselves responsible and to know how to use it, because I think it is the excessive part of pornography that actually changed most men's mind, and now it's difficult for them to connect. So at the end of the
Yeah.
day, whatever result we are having in relationship, I believe the only way you can fix certain things sometimes is to hold yourself responsible. So most men, they are rather shifting the blame to the women rather than them
And
holding their own blame and say, okay, this is what I'm doing wrong. And
yeah.
so that chorus syndrome of a thing, I think it's a very big problem. It's a very big problem. I haven't
Yeah.
I haven't done
Yeah, maybe girls are beginning to have Koro syndrome. It's possible. Yeah, probably girls are beginning to have Koro syndrome, and it's affecting their sexual perception. But it's actually prevalent among Japanese. That's why it's called Koro, not a prevalent sexual mental health sexual issue.
mm. So
You
I
know,
don't know
I
about
think it's not, yeah, you can just read about it. It's not prevalent among Africans and Americans and you. It's
can you
more along the line of Asians. That they call it Koro syndrome. Is
okay,
more like an Asian
CORO,
issue. No, it's
CORO, KO,
Koro.
okay,
Yes, Koro.
KORO, Koro
Yeah,
syndrome. Okay.
syndrome.
All right. I'm really going to check, make a little bit of research on it and see what comes out of it. So, any other thing you think you want to add up with this with our conversation for today, or you're checking something on your phone? Probably you want to inform our audience on
No,
something.
I'm good. I'm good. I
Is there,
really enjoyed this session. I'm good. I really enjoyed this session, and I learned a lot from this discussion and and the like. So I really hope to learn more.
no problem. I enjoyed you coming here, and I thank you for all your contributions also for teaching me at
Yeah.
least Koro syndrome, and opening our views to many other aspects that I probably might not know in Lagos. You
Oh,
understand? So I'm grateful for your support and creating time for us. So, Mr.
yeah.
Adiola or Adiola Olumuyiwa, am I right?
Olubody. Olubody.
Olubod. Okay. Uh, Olumuyiwa was the person I brought in to interview. That was last week. So,
Oh, okay.
Olabodi. Yeah. Is there
Olubody.
anything you would like? Is there anything maybe you do that you like our audience to know about? Your network. Uh, okay. For those of us who are here, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for the likes. Thanks for those who have joined me today. Please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Mr. Olabode Ademola, I would have wished maybe there's something he wants to say regarding maybe he has a business or something he wants to talk about on about himself that is kind of informative. I would have loved him to share it, but it seems his network is kind of bad because he's hanging right now. So thank you all for joining me today. We are going to see ourselves tomorrow, Sunday. We're going to be having special episode like my church. I'm opening my church service tomorrow around 9 a.m. to 10 or 11, and then I'll be posting it around 12. Church is not that type of church, my own personal kind of church. So I appreciate everyone who joined us today. Have a blessed day. See you in the next one. Adios, amigos. Bye bye for now. Oh, okay. Maybe you can just proceed just on whatever you want to touch.
Okay, I said, yeah, I'm a content writer. I work as a freelancer. But I'm currently running my education. So I'm trying to round up my education as a master's degree holder. So I'm shopping between freelancing and schooling. Let me put it that way.
And what aspect of the freelancing?
Yeah, content writing, content creation
Okay,
and writing. Yeah,
content creation and writing. So
yeah.
if anyone wants you to write maybe any content regarding for social media purpose, right?
Yeah, for social media for different purpose. It could be a business content or a presentation, just any content.
Okay. I'll be talking to you maybe after today's live show.
No problem.
So I would ask you certain things. All right.
No,
Thank you very much for joining us today. Have a
yeah,
great day.
yeah.
See
Thank you.
you next. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.